know that the poor have tremendous knowledge, and not only knowledge, they have, even though illiterate people, we have non-illiterate people who have tremendous uh, जिसको बोलते हैं गट गट, वो जो कोठा सूझ, we call it in Gujarati kotha suj, wisdom to do the things right. If it is, the market exchange is free and voluntary, the people can exchange their goods and services at their will, and they will enter into the transactions only if they feel that they would benefit from the market, from the exchange. And that's why they can benefit from the transaction. What we have seen, that it is the governments who make or create obstacles in the lives of the poor. Whatever they, with their own initiative, with their own enterprise, with their own efforts, honest efforts, whatever they want to do, but the government always obstructs them. And because the governments have so many rules and restrictions that prevent them into the regular business, their exchanges in the market, and so the people have all the time the obstacles from the government. And the most fundamental problem with this is their properties have not been recognized by the government. Most of the poor people who have been living or who have been using or who have been protecting the properties around them, be it in urban area or be it in the rural areas, but they don't have formal property rights, ownership rights on the property or the resources which they have been using and which they have been protecting also for many years. But so, because the government has not recognized their rights, they cannot use it in an efficient manner. They use it only stealthily, because there is always a fear that government officers, be it police or the municipal officers or the foresters or patwaris, they would come and pounce upon them. They would take away their the resources or the properties, and so they use all these things very stealthily, and so it does not add up to the economy also. Even though in India, most of the people are in this informal economy, because their occupations or their properties or their resources are not recognized, they cannot add up. They cannot get bank loans. They cannot, means they are not considered as if they are running the economy. That is the problem, and that's why they cannot, they only use it at a subsistence level. That is the problem. As I said, means because first of all, they don't have proper formal property rights, because the government has not recognized them. That is first number one obstacle or the hurdle of the government. Another is that the governments have so many millions of rules and regulations that restrict them. Say for example, if we think about agriculture, the government, in name of this Essential Commodity Act, they will restrict the movement or the sale of the agricultural produce in other state or in other district also. So, and there is this, government has created this APMC, that is Agriculture Produce Marketing Corporation, and that is the biggest hurdle for the farmers. If we think of the street vendors or the hawkers, they are not recognized by the government, and so they always live under the fear that any government agents would come and snatch away or take away. And so then they cannot improvise also their property or their resources. And there are so many, say for example in the slum dwellers. These people have been living here for decades. And not only this, these are the people who are providing important services to other citizens of the society. And so they are a part of, very important part of the economy. So they have been living in this area for so many years, yet it is the government land. And it also happens that in hands and gloves with big builders or some other big business industries, the government just removes them without giving any big. And if at all the government gives them some alternate site also, it is so far away from the city, and so they cannot carry out the profession or the occupation they have been doing living in this area. So instead of just destroying their houses, just removing them, if at all the government if regularizes them, they themselves would beautify the area. It is very strange that the government is supposed to look after the people, especially the poor, the weaker section of the society, and it comes on power also by promising that they will do good of the people. They would provide welfare measures to the people. And of course, the government has time and again announced so many welfare measures, so many welfare programs like PDS, like Manarega, and so many other welfare programs. But what do we see? In case of Manarega, the people get, it is our experience that the people get hardly 30 to 40 days work a year, whereas the Act provides 100 days a year. In case of PDS and other benefits, most of the food or benefits are siphoned away in the middle by the officers, contractors, or others. So even though they are declared in the name of the poor, most of the benefits are siphoned away in the middle by others. Basically, what the government is using someone else's money for someone else. And that is the problem. If anybody has to use somebody else's money for someone else, there is a catch. And I think if the government enters into all these, means taxing the people and giving it to the poor in the name of welfare, I don't think that it is sustainable. It is a sustainable proposition. It is not. And so I think the government should come out of all these things. And the government should concentrate on the very vital functions which the government is supposed to do. And that is the protection of the citizens against the aggression, internal and external aggression. Another function is the maintenance of the rule of law and the enforcement of the contract. Another is recognition and protection of the property rights, and to frame certain rules, broad rules in which private individuals play in the market. I think government should concentrate and narrow down its functions to these vital duties only. And it should come out of all these things. It should come out of the big promise that it will do good for the people. It will do good for the poor. Because two things. In the past, or what we have seen and what we are seeing, government cannot perform these things because of its overall inefficiency, because of its unaccountability, because of its the inherent logic of the situation is that the government cannot do because it is primarily using someone else's money for someone. It would be, what is government after all? After all, it is the politicians and the bureaucracy, the administrators. And even if we think that they are benevolent, even if we think that they are good natured and they mean business, then also the inherent logic indicates that they cannot do that much good. If this much money which the government is collecting through taxes, if this much money is left in the society itself, I think it will do greater good for the society. And as I said, that it is the markets which will help the poor to come out of, not only to come out of the poverty, but to better their lives. And so I think government should just leave the people to themselves. Yes, of course, there should be certain rules. The government should frame certain rules through which the society or the private individuals work in the market. That is the duty of the government, but not beyond that. And another reason why government should not meddle in all these things is that if, and which we are seeing and which we are witnessing, is that if the government wants to do or means wishes to do all these things, it will be at the neglect of the vital duties of the government, because government cannot do all these things, and so it should concentrate or it should narrow down on the vital functions the government is supposed to do. First of all, the government should recognize their property rights. Secondly, they should stop treating them as criminals or thieves. And the government should provide that type of atmosphere in which, that type of frame of rules in which all the individuals have a fair chance in transacting in the market in a just and efficient manner. And the most vital function of the government is to maintain the rule of law, which the government is not doing. The basic idea of the market is free and voluntary transactions. And it's not that the poor are dumb or the poor have no skills or they don't have any knowledge, and the poor know these things, but they are helpless because they don't have formal property rights. They don't have that space. They don't have that, means, oh, the government has put on so much restrictions on their occupation. So even though the poor know what to do in the market, how to do, they cannot do. If left alone and with their secured property rights, they know how to operate in the market. So I think we should give up this attitude of patronizing the poor, because it's not, we know that the poor have tremendous knowledge, and not only knowledge, they have, even though illiterate people, we have non-illiterate people who have tremendous जिसको बोलते हैं गट वो जो कोठा सूझ, we call it in Gujarati kotha suj, wisdom to do the things right. And so I think left alone with property rights, with that respect in the society, they would do great. Poor are smart enough to do the business. Yes, there are some crooks or some big businesses or something who who are in hands in gloves with the government. The government who have the coercive power. In that case, the big businesses or these crooked people, with the help of the government, may cheat the poor, may exploit the poor. But this happens not because the poor are dumb, not because the poor are stupid. It is because the big businesses or these big persons have support of the government. And why they can do such means they can cheat the people? That is because they have the support of the government. And the government, those who have this coercive power to force the people. And that is the reason why the poor people cannot stand against the big businesses or the big powerful people. I tell you, with my experience in the tribal area where I am working, getting titles to the lands or getting the hope that they are going to get the titles on the land they have been cultivating, and actually getting for a rights on the forest resources has tremendously helped these people. They have this, it has transformed their motivations, their incentives, and it has motivated them to take up so many land development and land improvement, forest improvement works on their own, with their own money, lakhs of rupees money. They have improved their lands, they have got irrigation facilities, and they are taking 2 or 3 crops a year instead of in place of 1 crop only. So they have in fact used their own hard money to improve their lands, to get irrigation facilities. Not only that, they have used and they are using to improve and grow and regenerate forest also. And so it has tremendously and dramatically changed the whole landscape also. And with the change in the landscape, automatically it has helped their lives also. We have been working in the tribal villages of Dediyapada in Narmada district for last more than 30 years. Almost all the land, at least about 90% of the land in these villages belong to the forest department. And so these people did not have ownership right on the land. Very few people. Say for example, in 5 or 6 families in one village would have ownership rights on the lands, revenue lands in their villages. So these people, of course, they were cultivating because they didn't have any means of livelihood, and so they had to cultivate the forest land. And so they were cultivating the forest lands before also, but very stealthily, lest they are not captured by the forest department. Otherwise the forest department would capture them, would confiscate their bullocks, would beat them, would put them in the jails. And so they were living a very subsistence life. But after the enactment of the Forest Rights Act that gives rights to the tribal families on the land which they had been occupying and cultivating before December 2005, and also the act gives rights on the community forest also, community forest resources also to the Gram Sabha. And so these people are entitled to get lands under their occupation as well as the rights on the forest resources also. And interestingly, in the villages in which we have been working, they have got titles both on the forest resources as well as on the, at least 98% of the families have got titles on the lands which they have been cultivating in the forest area. So before that, before they got the titles, they were taking only one crop, and that was also very stealthily. But now, after they got the titles, they are means they now openly and means with dignity they are cultivating the land. So the one most important gain is getting the dignity. Another is actually the economic benefit, because they have now incentives to improve the lands also and to improve the forests also, because they are getting economic benefits from the land and from the forest resources also. Say for example, I'll give you only two examples. So after they got rights, ownership rights on the minor forest produce including bamboo, these people have sold the bamboo of their forest areas. Uh, the bamboo in about in 31 villages, including these 20 villages, they sold the dry bamboo only, not the green bamboo, only dry bamboo. And the gram sabhas of these villages, the individual gram sabhas of these villages, not the panchayat gram sabhas, the individual gram sabhas of these villages got 11 crores of rupees as royalty, in addition to the 27 crore rupees as wages to the laborers of these, means the very people, the resident of these villages. And so these people have now incentives also to grow more bamboo and other forest produces. Another side is the after the recognition of their property rights on the land, they are now improving the land quality by take, undertaking the land leveling work, farm bunding work, uh, doing the irrigation work, means borewell and all these things. And and these they are doing with their own money. If they go to the cities to migrate, means migrate to the cities and have wages. If they have dairy, means buffaloes and cows, means what from whatever, or manarega also, some part comes from the manarega also. And so all this money, hard earned money, they with this hard earned money they did do land leveling in their lands. And so before they were getting only one crop from this land. Now some portion of the land they would do land leveling, from which they take either 2 or 3 crops a year. And so it has, I think, doubled, more than doubled their income. It has tripled the production of their crops. I'll give you one example of one Revji Bhai Vasawa of village Dakka. Before that, because he didn't have any land, but after getting the title, he invested more than 2 lakhs rupees in his land. He got half of the land is land level, means doing by after doing land leveling and this thing. And in another part that was a hill, that was somewhat hills, he planted trees. He got the solar, he dug the well with his own money and got the solar pump from the electricity company, that is Dakshin Gujarat Wijj Company Limited, and which has given him solar pump in lieu of the 3-phase electricity connection. So before that he was growing only maize and arhar. Now, of course, he has retained his maize and arhar, but on the top of it, he is also producing paddy, chana, that is grams, cotton, and most importantly, vegetables and from sale of vegetables he is earning at least 50,000 rupees in a season. So it has tremendously helped him improve the whole the quality of his lives. And not only this, he is now sending his children, including girls, outside to study more, study further. He has invested more than 1 lakh rupees for the education of a girl in a nursing course. So that has improved the whole lives of the whole family. So around 60% of the people have got actual land titles in their hands. But uh, around 98% of the people in these villages have their land titles, means their claims have been approved by the district level committee. And so they know and they are very confident, and the forest department also knows and respects this. Now before that the forest department would not allow them to do, but now the forest department is also compelled to do, and because the district level committee has also approved up to 98% of the claims of these villages. So now they are getting 3 crops a year, and not only 3 crops a year, they are the crops which give more income to the people. And so they are investing the surplus income again into the improvement of the land by doing land leveling with tractors or JCB also, which the forest department was not allowing before. They are digging wells, they are getting solar pumps also, and the latest, they have already applied. At around 1,000 families have applied for 3-phase connection with the electricity company, and most of the families in the village, they have at least doubled the income through all these efforts. It is generally believed that property rights are for the rich, but no, property rights are more important for the poor. Recognition of their property rights is a must for the poor, because the rich have money, so they can do anything. But without property rights, the poor are living a miserable life.